All right, pregame thoughts, Padres and the Milwaukee Brewers, game 2 of 3 in this series. Dylan Cease is on the mound. I think he's been the Padres' most consistent starter, and that's kind of funny to even be saying that because it's April 16th. But so far in like the 2 starts that he's had, I think he's been pitching pretty well. With Musgrove, obviously, there's been up and downs. I know Darvish, he had that one off outing as well. Waldron, obviously, there was that one start where he failed to adjust, in my opinion. I think it was against the Cardinals, kept throwing that knuckleball. So hopefully Dylan Cease can continue being consistent. Wade Miley is on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers, a lefty, and he is someone that works fast. So we might get a quick game tonight. It might get even quicker because Angel Hernandez is supposed to be behind the plate because he was at first base last night. So wide strike zone, outside strike zone to righties, at least if we're basing it off of that Astros Rangers game that Angel sucked at the other day. I think it was over the weekend in Houston, maybe Texas, doesn't matter. He was not good. So we'll see what that strike zone is going to look like tonight. Dylan Cease might end up with 15 strikeouts. Who the heck knows? My underdog fantasy pick, by the way, does not have to do with the Dylan Cease strikeouts, but I have him allowing no runs in the first inning. I did not get this correct with Musgrove yesterday, but hopefully with Cease I can get that correct. Lower half first inning runs allowed. And then I also have 2 other picks today, not baseball, but NBA. The play-in games for the Western Conference are tonight. Steph Curry, higher 28.5 points, and then LeBron, higher half double-double. If you don't care about the NBA, okay, whatever. But I just wanted to give you that suggestion that I have there. Not that I get all the picks right, but I think more often than not so far this year, I have been able to get it correct. So there you go. Bullpen, Suarez, they were trying to have yesterday be a day off for him. So I would expect him to be unavailable today because he ended up having to pitch yesterday with Kolek not being able to get through that end of that game there. But they have Matsui, they have Peralta. De Los Santos, he would be 3 days in a row, so he's probably down. But they have Morahone, Cosgrove, Peralta, Matsui for high leverage situations there at the end. You could throw Brito in there, but I don't think he'd be pitching in a high leverage spot. I think Morahone, you could see him pitch in the 7th inning if they need him to. But Cosgrove, definitely. Peralta, Matsui, definitely. But again, Suarez, De Los Santos, those are 2 guys that have been pitching back to back. They pitch back to back days. So I wouldn't think when it's April 16th that the Padres would throw both of those guys. We've got a roster move. Matthew Batten recalled from AAA El Paso. Brett Sullivan optioned to AAA El Paso, which was interesting. I was not expecting Matthew Batten to be the guy. Sorry, I was pulling up something here. I was not expecting Matthew Batten to be the guy to be called up. Brett Sullivan, okay, but I thought if you're going to send Sullivan down, he doesn't have a lot of games at first base in the big leagues. I think it's 2 games. Okay, maybe they're going to bring back Graham Pauley and have him play. Donovan Solano just signed a minor league deal, so I understand him not coming up immediately. But I thought, okay, maybe with Cronenworth, we don't have an update as of me talking right now on Jay Cronenworth. Calf tightness. That's why he was pulled from yesterday's game. So we'll see what happens there with Croney. But it seems like it's not as bad as it could have been because he would be on the 10-day IL, right? When it's April, I don't think that they would want to risk that. I know Croney wants to play every day. He's like Manny in that sense, where he does not want to go on the IL. But if it was bad enough, I think you don't waste the time and you put him on the IL. But he's not. So I think that's good news. Now, Profar, he's starting at first base. When I saw this roster move, I was like, so who's starting at first base? Because if they brought Paulie up, then I'm like, okay, Paulie, left-handed bat, gets the playing time. Great. I wanted Paulie to get that consistent playing time. He wasn't getting that, so I understood him going down to the minor leagues. But they take down Sullivan, put him in El Paso when he was playing first base last night when Crony came out of the game to bring up Batten. And I'm like, well, with Batten, there's already 2 infielders that can do what Batten can do. Eggy can play third. He can play second, I think, if you need him to. And Tyler Wade can play a bunch of different spots as well. So what's the need having Matthew Batten on the roster over Brett Sullivan, who can catch and he could play first base if you need him to. And Batten can play first as well. He has 6 major league games at first base, but it's still not a ton. Where with Graham Pauley, it seemed like they were intentionally, when Crony was not playing in spring training, they were like, hey, go play first base. And I believe Pauley did appear at first base at one point when he was up here at the big league level with the Padres. So I am a little surprised there, but it seems like them not calling Paulie up, it's like, hey, we just want him to get consistent at bats. We don't want him going up and down. Just we want him staying in El Paso. If he's going to come up, it's because he's going to be here for a substantial period of time, not because he's going to be here for maybe a few days or get a few games at first. No, we want him playing every day the next time that he comes up. So we'll see when that next time is, or maybe he's included in a trade. I still believe in him. It's just the question of we don't know what his ceiling is. Or with Merrill, I guess we don't know what his ceiling is either, but at least we're getting the everyday playing time there. Profar, he is playing first base tonight. So you see Jose Zokar, he's in left. This makes sense. But I was just, if Profar was going to play left field, I was just questioning who was going to play first base tonight. They weren't going to have Bogarts play first. I don't think Manny would have been an option. So Manny's DHing, Bogarts leading off, Tatis batting second, he's playing right. Manny DHing, Profar batting third with no Cronenworth. They want to split up the righties there, obviously. So that's why you got the lefty there. Well, actually, no, Wade Miley's a lefty, so it's just righties here. Profar is going to be hitting righty tonight. He's one of the Padres' best hitters right now, 916 OPS, so I do understand him batting third. And if a righty comes into the game, they can have Profar be a lefty there late in the game. Kim at short, Campy catching, Merrill in center, Eggy Rosario is going to be playing third, obviously with Wade Miley on the mound, and then Azokar in left. Which again, it makes sense. I was not expecting Matthew Batten to come up and start. I just was curious why I called Batten up when you have Wade, you have Eggy. Sullivan played first last night, but Batten can play first. And they must view it as, hey, Batten, he's a better option offensively, can play more positions on the infield than Brett Sullivan. With Sullivan, we think of him as catcher and first base in like an emergency situation. Or with Batten, he can play all over the place. So that's what I've got there. My pregame thoughts. Give your thoughts in the comments on this move. Sorry, by the way, disregard the first like half of this video, that first graphic that I showed on the left side of the screen. That was yesterday's lineup, and that was the Donovan Solano news from yesterday. I apologize. I hit record before I saw that I didn't put today's lineup out on the screen and put the roster move from today on the screen. But this is today's lineup. Bogart, Tatis, Profar, Manny, Kim, Campy, Merrill, Eggy, Azokar, with Batten, recalled, Sullivan sent down. That's what I've got. Milwaukee's lineup tonight, by the way, if you want it. Sal Frelick's leading off, then William Contreras, Willie Adames, Jake Bowers at first, Reese Hoskins DHing. I think Blake Perkins is the center fielder, Bryce Terang at second. Jackson Churio is in right, and then is it Joey Ortiz? I'm just reading MLB.com. Yeah, Joey Ortiz. So I just saw the last name on the lineup, so I was just trying to guess all the first names there. But yeah, there you go. Wade Miley, one start that he's had this year. So I'm not going to overreact to the one start that he had against the Cincinnati Reds.